Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfic. This will be the continuation of Spirit. This will be Part 4, Chapter 4, entitled Possession. Izuku hadn't been to school in a long time. After everything with his mom and his quirk, Aizawa and Hisashi had kept Izuku at home. Since Izuku was in preschool, they didn't have much curriculum or anything to catch him up on, but they help him with reading more difficult books and practicing counting, spelling, and teach him lots of new things. They watch lots of nature and science documentaries, Izuku's eyes widening as he takes in the world around him. Izuku's a bit scared, because he still hasn't seen Oboro since the scary afternoon in the park, but Izuku trusts his quirk counselor that Oboro will show himself again. He tries not to fuss about it too much, although he does look around a lot for his friend. When the day comes for Izuku to go back to preschool, Aizawa and Hisashi are getting him dressed in his little uniform and packing his backpack with a lunch and a few other things. "Izu, honey, please have your teacher call us if you want to come home," Hisashi says anxiously. "Your dad and I have a meeting this afternoon at UA, but we'll come get you if you need us." Izuku's eyes widen slightly at the mention of UA. Izuku's dads have been offered a chance to take a specialized course so they can be licensed to teach at the hero school, and Izuku thinks it's just about the coolest thing ever. "I'll be fine, Dad," Izuku says to Hisashi. "You and Daddy have an important meeting, and I have important school." "That's right," Aizawa says gently, helping Izuku tie his shoes. "Now, buddy, remember what we said. You can tell people about your quirk, but they might not believe you. What are you going to say if they tell you you're lying?" Izuku thinks back to the multiple conversations he's had with his parents about this. "That they can think whatever they want, but my quirk is real, and I'm not a liar." "Good job, kiddo," Hisashi murmurs. "Are you excited to see your friends again?" Izuku beams. He is really excited to see Kachan. It's been ages since he's seen his best friend, since his mom's funeral. He nods, taking his dad's hand, as they begin walking him to school. Once they reach the front doors, Izuku gives his parents a hug and waves goodbye, turning to head into the building. After he enters, he walks the familiar path down to his classroom, heart hammering happily when he sees the classroom door open and a few kids already there. He hangs his backpack up on his hook and waves to his teacher, and goes to sit on the little rug by the bookshelf when a loud voice interrupts his thoughts. "Where have you been, Izuku?" Kachan calls, running over with excited eyes. "I haven't seen you in forever." "Kachan!" Izuku giggles, throwing his arms around his best friend tightly. Kachan wriggles under the hug, so Izuku pulls away, happy to see his friend again. Kachan pulls Izuku over to a corner of the classroom, and they grab some blocks out of the toy box, sitting on the floor as they begin to build a tower on the carpet. "So, really, where have you been?" Kachan asks as they carefully stack the blocks. "I got my quirk and you weren't even here." Izuku gasps, bouncing up and down a bit. "You got your quirk? Awesome! What is it, Kachan? What is it?" "Explosions," Kachan beams proudly, holding up his hands. "I can blow stuff up with my hands. I sweat nitroglycerin. It makes stuff explode." Izuku's eyes are huge, thrilled that his friend has such a cool quirk. "Wow, that's so cool. Can you make really, really big explosions?" "Uh-huh," Kachan grins, crossing his arms. "So when are you going to get a cool quirk, Izuku? We're supposed to be hero partners, remember?" Izuku nods, looking left and right before leaning in to whisper, "I did get my quirk." It's Kachan's turn to look surprised, his eyes widening a bit. "Really? Well, come on, spill. What is it?" "I can see ghosts," Izuku says quietly, and Kachan freezes. "The night Mama died, I saw a boy who was dead, and I saw Mama too. And I see ghosts everywhere now. Most of them are nice, but some are scary. I made a ghost friend too. He is a UA student, and his name is Oboro, and he's really cool. I haven't seen him in a while, though." Kachan's eyes narrow, crossing his arms. "You're lying, Izuku. Ghosts aren't real." Izuku's chest clenches. He knew some people weren't going to believe him, but he had thought Kachan would. Kachan is his best friend. Kachan is supposed to believe him because that's what friends do. "Yes, they are," Izuku says fiercely, forgetting the polite things his dad's told him to say. "Oboro's real, and I did see Mama, and I see a lot of other ghosts too. My quirk counselor said people wouldn't believe me, but it is real. My quirk is called Haunt and everything." "Stop lying," Kachan growls, knocking over their block tower. "You're just jealous because I have a cool quirk and you don't. You're probably just quirkless or something, and that's why you're lying." Izuku's about to cry. He hadn't expected this. "Why are you being so mean, Kachan?" Kachan's lip curls. "'Cause you left me alone, idiot. I haven't seen you in forever, and you didn't even call me. You left me to go with Present Mike, and then I never saw you again. You're the mean one, Deku." Izuku winces at the mean nickname, and then he really does start crying. The room is noisy enough from the other kids that their teacher hasn't noticed their argument yet, but someone else has. "Hey, brat, you better leave him alone," a familiar voice says, and Izuku looks up with a shock. It's Oboro, standing over both of them with his arms crossed, staring at Kacchan with distaste. "Izuku, is this jerk really your best friend?" Oboro!" Izuku gasps, wiping out his eyes. He misses Kacchan's confused look as Izuku stares up at the ghost, a smile on his face. "You're back!" "Damn straight," Oboro says, looking angrily at Kacchan. "Kid, you better leave Izuku alone." "Stop making stuff up," Kacchan growls, leaning over to put a hand on Izuku's shoulder. He squeezes a little too hard, and Izuku winces. "Ouch, Kacchan, you're hurting me." A few things happen in quick succession. Kacchan doesn't let go. Izuku cries out, and Oboro reaches out to touch Kacchan's hand, where it's clenched on Izuku's shoulder. Izuku's eyes glow a bright white, and the color drains out of Kacchan's face. "You better let go of him," Oboro snarls, and Kacchan yanks his hand back, looking positively terrified. Izuku gasps, surging forward as he brings a hand up to his head, a surge of pain rushing through him. "What on earth is going on over here?" their teacher asks, kneeling down next to them both. "Izuku, Katsuki, are you two fighting?" Izuku just bursts into tears, his head aching terribly. He's not sure what Oboro just did, but Kacchan could see him, even for a split second, which has never happened before. Izuku just cries and cries until he's almost sick to his stomach, and he hears Kacchan start crying too. Izuku eventually passes out, everything around him fading to darkness. When he wakes up again, Izuku's worried parents' faces are the first thing he sees, both looking extremely relieved to see Izuku awake. "Izu, honey," Hizashi says, reaching over to put a cool hand on Izuku's forehead. "Are you okay, baby? Your teacher called us, said you passed out in class." Izuku gasps, sitting up when he remembers what happened. He looks around the room wildly, relief flooding him when he sees Oboro perched on a desk in the corner, waving gently at Izuku. "Izuku, are you all right?" Aizawa asks, gently squeezing Izuku's hand. "What happened?" Izuku rubs his forehead, trying to remember. Kacchan was being mean. Oboro showed up and got mad. He touched me and yelled at Kacchan, and I think Kacchan could see him. Then my head hurt, and I cried, and then I woke up here." Aizawa and Hizashi both look stunned and worried while Izuku rubs his forehead, trying to massage out the ache he still feels. "Sorry about that, kid." Oboro winces, walking over to sit next to Izuku on the little cot. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't know that I was able to do that. Sorry, little bro." Izuku blinks, looking at Oboro with a smile before reaching over to pat his hand. "It's okay, Nissan." Oboro visibly starts at being called Nissan, but Izuku just smiles, looking back over to his parents. "Oboro says he's sorry. He didn't mean to." Hizashi looks to Izuku's left, where Oboro was sitting, as if trying to make eye contact with the ghost. "Oboro, I know I can't hear you, but whatever that was, please don't do it again," Hizashi pleads quietly. "I know it was an accident, but Izuku got hurt." Oboro looks guilty, running his hands through his hair with a sigh. "Zashi, you know I'd never hurt anyone on purpose. Sorry, man." Izuku relays this message, unaware that the whole interaction has been observed by the school nurse, who's eyeing it with shock, and also a very weepy and apologetic Katsuki. "Izuku, sweetheart, there's someone here to apologize to you," the nurse says gently, nudging Katsuki into the room. "Go on, dear." Kacchan folds his arms, looking a little awed by Present Mike, and also wary. He keeps his eyes to the floor, sniffling as he tries not to start crying. Izuku watches his friend sadly, remembering how Kacchan was mean to him. "I'm sorry, Izuku," Bakugo stammers after a quiet minute. "I thought you were lying. Is that ghost still here?" "Yeah, he's here," Izuku says. "It's okay, Kacchan. Oboro didn't mean to scare you. He's just, protective of me." Kacchan walks over, wringing his hands together as he ignores Izuku's dad, crawling up to sit in front of Izuku on the little cot. Izuku decides to forgive Kacchan for what happened earlier. He doesn't want to be in a fight with his friend. While it wasn't nice what Kacchan did, he does seem sincerely sorry. Izuku doesn't think he's heard his friend apologize before. "So, How many ghosts can you see right now? Kachan asked him curiously. Any cool ones? Scary ones? Izuku beams, leaning forward and telling Kachan everything. His parents still don't look entirely convinced, but Oboro relaxes. Izuku catching up with Kachan for real this time. He's happy that despite everything, they can still be friends. All right, listeners, this concludes Chapter 4 of Spirit. Chapter 5 will be up next. I hope you all are still enjoying it. As always, thank you so much for listening.